Welcome everybody to Service Drive Revolution. We have an exciting show for you today I'm from quarantine and Jeremy is actually at his shop. They are open and busier than ever. Say hello, Jeremy.
Hello everybody. Thanks for having me, Chris. Yeah, we have cars everywhere and people need our essential service. So it is rocking up here. Of course, we are taking the proper precautions. I don't want people to think that we're just out there doing our thing and driving car count. No, we're being safe and all that. I've got more on that later in the show.
You kind of look like a doctor, bro. Like you could probably diagnose a car and maybe test people for STDs.
We could do that, yes. Although if you have
of all the STDs that you have, which one's your favorite?
I can't tell you that one, Chris, because they'll
have
to
pick.
Edit. It's hard to pick. Yes, it is very hard to pick.
Oh, I understand. Well, the show today we're going to talk about how the industry is changing. And there's an interesting article that we read about some things that I do agree with and some things I don't, but I'm curious what your opinion is on that. And also we're going to answer your questions and anything else that comes up. I'm a little jealous, Jeremy, that you're so busy and I've kind of been quarantined. So besides having a morning meeting with my team every morning at 7, because a few of them are on the East Coast and in the Central region, we've been having a Zoom meeting every morning and kind of talking about coaching calls and what's going on. I've been playing a contest with them, also coming up with different subjects and things like that. But beyond that, I've just been writing. So I was writing this leadership book called I Lead, You Follow. And then I've had this book for a long time called Pet the Dog, which is the customer service book. And I always just kind of felt like it was missing something. And then I just got super inspired. And I think I've figured out how to fix the book and make it really good. And so I'm almost done with that, which I'm really excited about. And you kind of know from creating the advisor training that you did, which was called the Profitable Service Advisor, but we might have to change it.
No, we don't have to change it. No.
Didn't we get a cease and desist letter for the Profitable Service?
No, we did not get a cease and desist letter on that. I'm getting harassed from another, actually from Satan, who lives on this planet. And it was just about
my ex-wife is harassing you?
Yeah, she is, man. Believe it or not. No, the Profitable Service Advisor is fine. We just have some things we got to take care of beforehand. So
we could change the name. Who cares, right?
Yeah,
what's
the name
important about that is how great the content is.
Oh, dude, the content's amazing.
I was gonna say, you when you were writing all that, it's really hard to write that sort of stuff. It's really hard to write a book.
It is, and the thing is, when you get into the creative mind, service advisors, we're out there catching business all day long. We show up to work, and the business comes to us. But when you're creating, you really have to sit down, think about the process, think about the systems, and you're really good at systems, right? I'll show up to work and just do stuff. But you're good at building the systems, which I love. That's why I love working with you. And then the creativity has to come out. So, to write a book, literally, you could have years put into that. And to produce a 5-minute video, people don't realize there might be 20 to 30 hours of work behind the scenes.
Oh, man. You worked so hard on that training. I don't know, it took over 6 months to write it and record it and do it. But, it turned out great. So that advisor training, different than the advisor training on the Chris Collins website, it's for independent shops. So if you have an independent shop, that's Jeremy's specialty. And he has, it's unbelievable. There's people going on there now on the training. And I think the pilot's over and he's launching it and it's available to the public. So go, where should they go if they want to check it out?
They can go to profitableserviceadvisor.com. So just type that in, no www. It's just profitableserviceadvisor.com. Also, my website, AdvisorFix, has a link on there with a code, and it's got our latest videos in a feed there. So you can go to AdvisorFix as well and check that. And that's advisor with an O, not an E. So it's advisorfix.com.
It's the real spelling.
It's the real spelling, absolutely.
Yeah, no, you guys will love it. It's great. It's great stuff. And get in early. There's specials and things like that. So yeah, so I'm excited about this book. I've had the cover to the book because I had Chip Kidd design the cover. And did you hear the episode of Business Outlaws where he talks about how he created it?
I did. Yes.
Yeah. So I have this cover, and like I was super inspired, but I got so busy before this virus. I was flying all over the world, and I never like got to decompress. I feel like my creativity, like I'm just writing stuff like crazy. It's been really fun. So what I do is I read Bukowski for a while. Have you ever read Bukowski?
No, I'm writing that down right now.
My process is crazy, Jeremy, if you're curious. So I will read Bukowski, and I read 3 chapters. My favorite book, and people listening, it's a dirty book. You don't need to read it. I don't want to hear your comments that it's dirty because it's Bukowski, and I don't know what you expect. But the book Women, for some reason that book, the cadence of it, and like it's, you know, a lot of the really good writers, there's a certain rhythm like to it, like it's jazz in a way. And so Hunter S. Thompson was that way, Bukowski. David Sedaris is kind of more like trance music than jazz, but I'm a drummer, so everything to me is a rhythm, right? And so I read Bukowski, I get in that rhythm, and the way he writes, and he's very descriptive, and I try to get that kind of programmed in my head. So it takes 3 chapters. I just randomly open it up and start reading, and then I start writing. And I have this typewriter that's like a digital typewriter that you can't, there's no email, there's no Facebook, it's just a digital typewriter that uploads to a cloud, and I use that. So I sit out on the deck, I smoke a cigar, and I wrote a chapter yesterday that will be the 2nd chapter in Pet the Dog that I am so excited about. I've only read it to one person, but it does exactly what I wanted it to do, because I was worried that the Pet the Dog book, being about customer service, is really for a younger audience. And I want that book to be a tool that our clients, dealers, service managers, shop owners, anybody could take that and give it to a 19-year-old kid that doesn't really understand customer service. These younger kids are kind of introverted. Did you know that, Jeremy?
I'm seeing that from my own children. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, they're little. Well, and it's your fault. You guys are terrible parents. Everybody listening, you're parents.
Hey, come on, man. They don't give you a
to be
manual when the
questioned.
kid pops out. They don't give you the manual when the kid pops out, dude.
Here we go.
I have an excuse for everything, just so you know.
Yeah, no doubt. So you give it to this 19-year-old kid that's on Facebook all the time, really isn't good at human interaction. They're better at spelling, right?
They're not actually good at spelling. They're good at asking Google or Siri for everything.
Then how do I grab their heartstrings and get them to care about customers? The other problem with these kids nowadays, and I'm trying to solve with this book, Jeremy, is they're not loyal to companies. How many times do you interview kids now and they have a new job every 6 months or every year? They just think it's their, like, that's the way it goes. Like, you just jump from job to job.
Well, you know what it is? Every position and everything they work on is another stepping stone on their way up. That's how they view it. So they don't want that 30 or 40-year job. They're looking for the big payday. They're looking for the experience, and they're looking at their next thing. So it's just you're just a rung in their ladder or a stone on their path.
So the problem I'm trying to solve, let's recap. Introverts from bad parenting, they're more social media oriented than human connection, right? And then the fact that they don't stay somewhere long enough or care enough about a company to care about the customers, right? Like, you kind of got to care about the company to care about the customers. And so I'm trying to bridge those gaps.
Nice.
And I feel like I really had a breakthrough yesterday, and I'm excited. So when we're done here, I'm gonna go back to writing, and I'm hoping by Monday I can piece this thing into a pretty good outline. And then the last thing I do when I'm writing a book is you go through it, 10 times, because you change the order and cut stuff, and there'll be little pieces, little segues that are missing, and then you completely forget about it. People walk up to me and they're like, "You know that part in the Irreplaceable Service Manager, where you say blah blah blah?" And I'm like, "That sounds genius, but I do not remember," because as soon as you're done writing a book, you hate the book because you spent so much time.
Don't forget to send me a preview of that chapter, please, as soon as you get off our recording here.
Maybe tonight when you're falling asleep, I'll call you and I'll read it to you.
No, that's perfect, man. That'd be great.
You can put me on speaker and I can read it to you and your wife.
There we go. That'll work.
Do you let your kids sleep in bed with you?
Yeah, we still do.
Look, I'll just read it to the whole family. So
All
that
five
you
of
guys
us are in
cuddled
one
up
bed.
in the
Yeah, that's
in
it.
a queen size bed or twin or what is it?
It's a Cal King, sir.
Wow, the whole family. What about the dogs? Do you let them on the bed?
Oh, no, the dog's down on the floor.
Okay.
The dog has
Well,
the food.
I don't know what's worse for your adult relationship with your wife, or we could say sex life. A dog on the bed or kids on the bed?
All of the above, sir. But here's the thing, though. It's no different than time management. You just have to be very specific with what you want, set your goals, and then take action and achieve those goals. So it's no different. The sex.
So
life
you're
is
just
fine.
on the spot. You're just Action Jackson. Like you don't need a lot of warming up. Nobody needs to blow in your
Well,
ear.
no. See, you schedule foreplay in. It's like a whole thing that you. It's
Oh, how
this whole
romantic!
thing.
Oh, honey,
yeah.
the Google Calendar says it's time for you to rub my neck and blow in my ear.
Well, no. See,
Very
you set you
romantic.
send the flowers out early. You leave a little handwritten card at home. You know,
So
Chris,
what,
we
you're
could,
having sex once every 3 months? You're not sending your wife flowers twice a week, 3 times a week.
I send it every week if I have to. It doesn't matter. She's the.
So you're having sex once a week.
No.
That's what we learned here, everybody.
Oh man, you just have this really awesome way of making me very uncomfortable. So thank you.
But if anybody's watching this, Jeremy's a little red right now in the cheeks.
just a little bit. It's all
A
good.
little red.
Totally
Dr.
fine.
Jeremy.
Totally
Dr.
fine.
Jeremy. You do look like a doctor, bro.
Hey, speaking of these younger generation, 19-year-olds, you know, I think they had a part in creating the COVID virus because they are very transactional, not relationships. So they got together with Trump and sold him on the idea of having the CIA release this virus over in China so we could blame it on China. And remember, this all goes back to Trump and the CIA, but the 19-year-olds are in on it because they don't look. People think we're going to go back to normal. Chris, we're not going to go back to normal.
Jeremy, I think I owe you an apology.
Why is that?
Because it does look like the thing was created from, well, not from the CIA, but it looks like, and I don't know, I only know what is reported and what I read. I'm certainly not in the White House getting briefed by the CIA, but it does look like that somebody in that lab there in Hunong or whatever was selling meat of the animals they were testing on into that market because they were so poor. They were selling meat for extra money, and it looks like that might have been the cause. So I might have underestimated your conspiracy intellect. I might have looked past it too hastily, and you might. Now it's not the CIA though. No, nothing has come out about that. But it's great to know that China's, just experimenting with chemical weapons in the middle of a city with no protection or safeguards. Like we have better control of our shop supplies. It sounds like.
Right, we do. And the whole thing on this is
we're more worried about window washer fluid.
we can't even buy windshield washer fluid that doesn't freeze in Southern California
Yeah.
because we're not cold climate, right? So it's crazy. It's interesting where we're at with everything right now and how they shut everything down. And this thing has to be a lot more serious than people think it is. Otherwise, why would you shut the world off and let it go on months? We've extended it so far that, going back to north, they're even talking like this is one reason I hate California. I love and hate California. The mayor of Los Angeles leads all these crazy ideas. Then our governor backs him, and then it rolls out to the nation. But the mayor of LA said that there's probably not going to be a major sporting event in California until 2021. And I don't think he even knows how powerful the NFL owners are, but I have a feeling the NFL is going to play their season. But it's very interesting. I don't think we're going to go back to normal. I think we have to adjust.
Have you heard what they're thinking about doing with baseball?
No, I have not.
Like locking them all into like 3 stadiums together somewhere in Phoenix or somewhere, and
Right.
they all play on TV, so they get their TV rights. People have nothing else going on that are quarantined, so they'll watch it, but nobody comes in, nobody comes out, kind of.
I think they should do that. I think, the one thing, if I own a major sports franchise, the ticket revenue is key, but these television contracts, and look, everybody's watched every rerun that's ever been on television. It's time to get some fresh content out there. Let the guys go play. Do it. Make it happen. 5 games.
It isn't
in an
gonna
hour.
matter, bro. I don't know. I was so brokenhearted last year. I wouldn't mind if the Seahawks took a year off. Like, we still don't have a defensive line. I don't know. Let's do the draft, and then I'll tell you if I think the NFL season should go or not.
I agree. I think the NFL season should go on, and whoever your team is, the season's great, and it doesn't matter where you place. There's only one ultimate winner at the end of the season.
It does matter. It does matter. Okay, so there's this article at CNBC.com. The gentleman's name is Michael Wayland, who wrote this article. The headline to this article is Coronavirus Pushes Auto Dealers to Embrace Online Sales Like Tesla and Carvana. Key points. U.S. auto dealers have been slow to embrace online sales. However, the coronavirus is changing that. I don't agree with that. I don't think that dealers have been slow. I mean, listen, you got in the U.S., I don't know, when you have 18,000 dealers, and in Canada you have 7,000 or something, maybe a little less. When you take 25,000 or whatever it is, you take that many dealers, you're going to have the losers. And you're going to have the winners. But I think the average dealer across the country, and you also have to think about the market they're in, right? Like, not all the markets want to buy online. So the market you're in is different. If you're in LA, yeah, you're going to have more people online than if you're in Pocatello, Idaho, right? Pocatello, Idaho, people come down and they're like, Jim, what are you doing for F-150s this month? And it's time for me to get a new one. So it's a little different. Once again, you can't take a wide brush across everything, but for the most part, I think the dealers have embraced online sales. The thing that I think is consumers haven't necessarily embraced it, and that what we're really not talking about is how consumers' trust for dealerships is the problem, not online sales. So I think he gets it wrong. Probably not a car guy writing this. I don't know.
And it's no different than when we talk about the service drive and creating digital sales. I sold a brake job today, and I didn't even talk to the customer. I sent
just
him
brag like that, just like, oh,
I mean, come on.
I sold a brake job today. Look at me.
Hold on.
You know how many people listening to this didn't sell a brake job? How inferior they're gonna feel?
Well, no, I'm trying to illustrate a point here.
There's people at home quarantined. I can't sell a brake job, Jeremy.
Yes, you can.
No, I can't.
Chris, no, you can. I can turn you into my shop management software, give you a login. You can build estimates, send them to customers. They can approve with the push of a button. You don't have
too busy trying to write a book for kids that don't want it.
But my point is this. I think consumers, the car buying process is very interesting. So buying cars is a tangible asset that you want to touch and feel, talking about STDs. And you want to go experience it. So yes, you may want to do a lot of that purchasing up front, but you're still going to want to touch the asset. And I think one thing with service sales is the more that we can get out of the old, drag the customer through the mud, talk about all the recommendations and all that BS, and let the customer drive the sale digitally, I think that's going to drive and increase sales because that's what consumers want. Now, what's going to happen is this. This is what, with the lockdown, what drives me crazy is my experience with my local Volkswagen dealer where I had a customer that wanted to buy the car. I had the car picked out. I had the stock number. And they told me, no, we can't sell you a vehicle. That should have never happened. The other thing, too, with the shutdown, why are restaurants absolutely shuttered? They could do something different to still drive revenue. So I think we have to look at this, whether it's on demand, online, or in person. It's just a pillar to your success. You have to have a strong online buying process to allow consumers to buy from you no matter what product you're selling. And then you got to back that up with a nice, feel-good, touch the asset delivery when it's time to give the product to the customer.
Yeah, I think a lot of times there's this desire to make things simple, right? Mm-hmm. We want like the magic pill and we want a one-word metaphor for things. But the truth of the matter is when you say Carvana and Tesla, it's different than car dealers in the sense that Tesla and Carvana are going direct to the consumer. Believe it or not, a lot of the more progressive dealers struggle because the manufacturers dictate their website, the website company, what the website, like literally if you have a Toyota dealership, you have to use the Toyota cookie cutter website with the company that they use. Most manufacturers are like that. And so they control all of that. And so if you want to be progressive online, you still are held back by the manufacturer. So in some cases, the dealers are holding back the manufacturer. And in some cases, like this one, the manufacturers are holding back the dealerships. And like I had I was doing this speaking thing with this amazing guy from Google, Tony. Shout out Tony. We're gonna have him on the show as soon as this thing lifts, because he was actually gonna come on, and then right when all this happened, everything got canceled. But one of the things that he was explaining to me from Google's point of view is you kind of have 3 tiers of online sales. You have the manufacturer and the advertising they do of pay-per-click, right? Then you have the dealers that have their agencies, or they do it in-house or whatever. And then you have the aftermarkets doing it also in the independents. And so you kind of have these 3 layers, and none of them are coordinating. The manufacturer is sending leads to the dealers, but they're not coordinating the message. And just think, like, if you have different messages, different agendas out there, you're not really using the power and the spending power that you have on having one message and one unified marketing plan. And so it's very
fragmented.
disjointed.
It's absolutely fragmented. Yeah,
in a lot of ways. And it's not that the dealers don't want to be more progressive. It's that they're locked up by the manufacturers on what websites they can use, all that. I know when I was running Crevier, we were the 2nd dealer in the country to do Google pay-per-click. And we used to think that we needed to redo our website every 3 to 6 months to have a new look. And then BMW comes in and says, no, the only website you can have is this one from these idiots in Atlanta or whatever that have a web hosting company that's owned by Reynolds and Reynolds or something like that really are 10 years behind you guys in what you're doing online. But it's part of the dealer agreement, and that's how it has to be. So I think one thing that you're missing here, Mr. Wayland, in this article is the fact that it's not that the dealers don't want to. It's the fact that the setup and the overall nature of the environment is unintentionally. I don't think the manufacturers intentionally are doing that, because like you got 10 moron dealers that would have a terrible website and would do weird things and not do it right. So they're trying to protect their brand, right? BMW's trying to protect their brand. And I remember one thing that they said is we launched this new website and it was black. And they came back and they said, well, only porn sites are black.
Oh, jeez.
Your website has to be white. And I was like, I had never, ever
that would have
thought of that.
Never crossed my mind. Right.
Okay. Well, we're selling a lot of cars off of a black website that has nobody else but you's ever said that it, was mistaken for porn, but whatever.
Well,
I don't know. That's the thing.
This ties into, I think, one of the questions today, which is, even though, and I agree with where he's going with the article and the fact that more dealers are turning online, they've always been doing that. They're just, when we bought my wife's Toyota RAV4, we contacted 4 different dealers, and yes, you're right. The websites looked the same, but it was after that initial contact that the fragmentation just completely blew it apart. And the way that they handled the online shopping experience was completely different from one dealer over to the next. So I think the message is, no matter what business you're in, you've got to master your digital sales process and have it in a way that can funnel revenue to your business and master it. Like you said, you guys were early adopters at Crevier, and you can still do that today.
Yeah, and I mean, I had a great team at Crevier, but the reason why we sold so many cars online back then is we looked at online sales as an away from the showroom experience. We thought, hey, if somebody goes online and they want to buy a car, they don't want to come into the showroom. So the first email, the attention to detail, with the copy in the emails, the pictures we would send them, we were trying to sell them on the idea of it was hassle-free. We would bring the car to you to test drive if you wanted, but it was an away from the showroom experience. Even when we'd make an appointment, we'd say like, hey, you're coming in. This isn't away from the showroom experience, so make sure you ask for me, that sort of thing. And the customers felt different. So our grosses back then on online sales were higher than the floor, which is a tribute to our manager Sean. She was amazing in what they did, but it just proves the point that if you sell an away from the showroom experience and try to appreciate people's time and the way you're getting them, and not treating everybody the same, right? You can pick up some gross.
You guys were delivering exactly what the client wanted. You were delivering the buying experience how they wanted it. They were buying from you, not being sold. That's a huge difference. And we can do that in the service drive as well. We can create a process where the customer wants to take care of their car. They understand how long they're going to keep it. We customize a maintenance and repair plan tailor fit for them and their car, and we deliver it how you want it. If you want to have a phone call, I'll call you. You want me to text you? You want pictures? You want videos? You want a digital vehicle inspection? You want me to send you the estimate via email or text? I can do that. We're going to cater to you, Mr. Customer, and give you the exact experience that you want. It's all about matching your customer's preferred communication style, how they want to be communicated with. We have to deliver that. Whether you're 19 or 79, everybody takes in information differently, and you've got to be able to deliver across all platforms today.
Yeah. The other two things he says on here, online sales is one of the last chances for salvation for some dealers that have had to close their showrooms due to the pandemic, which is true. And JD Powers expects U.S. retail sales to drop 80% this month.
Well, yeah, there's no question about that. Do you know how many customers are waiting to buy brand new cars right now? Like, once things kind of lift, the floodgates are going to open. We're not ready for the activity that's out there.
That's the note I wrote down, bro. They're not trading in their cars for tennis shoes.
No, they're not. Absolutely.
It's pent up.
It is. There's so much. And it's only been, 4 to 5 weeks? This activity that is sitting in this economy is massive and huge. So we can't rest on our laurels. That's why we're staying busy, because we like to run.
The late, great Bob Crevier used to say that. He'd go, they're not trading in their cars for tennis shoes.
Did he have a cigar in his hand when he did that, or?
No, he was just, no, he didn't smoke. But great, I mean, one of the great car dealers, and loved the business, but he was always had an attention to detail for lease returns. He always wanted to know what our conversion was of people coming off a lease, because he would say, they're not trading in their cars for tennis shoes. Like, where are they going? What are they buying? Why would they want a Mercedes? They're too young to buy a Mercedes, he would say.
Oh, that's cool.
Oh, he was great. But yeah, they're not trading in their cars for tennis shoes, so it's pent up. And the ones that aren't going to trade in are going to come in for service, and we're going to get them.
Absolutely.
So our business is going to be crazier than ever.
It is. Absolutely.
Okay, should we do some questions?
Yeah, but hold on. I've got to be 100% compliant, and I don't want to offend anybody. So because we're going social and we're going to talk questions, I'm going to get ready. And
bro, you can't catch Corona through Zoom.
Well, you don't know that. That's not proven. So I want to be conscious of the people out there
I'm more worried if you're just wearing pants or not. I don't care if you have a mask and eye protection.
Dude, I'm at the shop. I got my Doc Martens on and my work pants. I have pants on. I want to be sensitive to the people that want us to take the proper precautions, and I want you guys to know that we take this stuff seriously.
Like you're gonna give me a prostate exam with the way you're doing that.
Can you turn your head and cough, please?
Yeah, right.
My glasses are fogging up. I can't see.
We need somebody to read these questions. We need the voice of God to read them. Are you there, voice of God?
This is the voice of God.
Question number 1.
This first question comes from LinkedIn.
God is Goddish?
Is that Sean Connery that we hear?
In your episode about the 4th labor type, you said that in order to get a true hours per RO, to divide labor dollars by number of ROs and then divide by current ELR. With an ELR of 94.28, that math produces 22.46 hours per RO. When I calculate the normal way with MTD numbers, I also get 2.46 hours per RO. My door rate is $119. Is there a benefit or reason for calculating it one way or the other? Thanks, Chris.
Okay. So if I understand the question, Jeremy, should you calculate hours per hour using the posted labor rate or the effective labor rate? Am I understanding this right?
That's the question, yes.
Okay. Now, let's get something out of the way. What does posted labor rate mean?
Well, in California, that's just being Bureau of Automotive Repair compliant.
Means
It's a target
nothing.
rate. It doesn't mean
Means
anything. You're
nothing.
right. Yes.
Means nothing. So
Well, look at the
only
example.
thing that really matters is effective labor rate. So if you want the true measurement of what you're averaging per repair order, use the true measurement of effective labor rate. Your posted labor rate and your effective labor rate, if you have a pricing strategy and you're in our coaching program, your effective might be a little higher than your posted labor rate. But if you don't, I mean, I've seen a gap of $80 before between posted and effective labor rate. So
Holy cow. So
Yeah.
in his example,
Texas.
his door rate is 119, but he's generating 94.
yeah,
So
see, that's way
that's-
too big of a gap.
That's huge. Yeah, you should have literally no more than 5% slippage is the absolute
So
max.
you don't have a pricing strategy and you're not executing on the pricing strategy, and the advisors probably aren't selling the stuff that they should be selling. So you definitely need our coaching program or on demand, and we'll help you with that. But the true measurement, to me, the real way to do it is to use your effective, because that's really what you're collecting, and that gives you a truer number. Do you agree with that, Jeremy, or do you have another take?
No, I do agree with it 100%. I think looking at this, most cars on the road, I think the Car Care Council has this number. The average car sitting in a parking lot needs 3 hours of maintenance or repairs. So that's just on average. So 2.4 is a little bit low. We want to push that number up. And if you're giving up $18 per hour, the one thing that I like to look at door rate or posted rate is that's what advisors judge their value based on. And what I mean by that is if I say, hey, Chris, we charge $125 an hour, but we're actually effectively charging $95, we're not charging $125. So a lot of times there's that slippage there and the shops aren't even getting the numbers that they should be getting. And we should actually increase our pricing and raise our labor pricing up. So I do like to look at the door rate for that reason. And then also you've got to calculate effective, but the profits lie in managing that effective rate.
Yeah, well, you need to understand the different labor types and then how they're priced differently, and then you need to sell the ones that have the higher effective labor rate consistently also, right?
Absolutely. Yes.
Good job. Okay. Voice of God. What's question number 2?
This next
What?
question is not a question. It is a comment from YouTube. This comes
boy.
from Willie on YouTube. Chris, as much as I love your videos and podcast, let's be honest. We don't want to risk our lives to increase RO count. Maybe the best thing during this time is a couple of cars a day and less than half the techs. I am in the epicenter of the pandemic. I do not want to increase ROs. Give me a video where you are telling the owners to pay their techs and advisors and parts specialists extra during days off. Not this.
Oh, well, I
So
mean,
that-
first of all, Willie, I want to not assume in any way what you're going through or how you feel. And I think if you listen to that again, you would hear in that, I believe I said, I don't know, Jeremy, if you remember, I said not to make light of this and to be very, very careful, and that our people's safety should be priority one, right?
Yes.
Did I not say that?
No, you did.
Because I mean that from my heart. I really do. And I'm not making, listen, we're putting on a show here, and I don't think you guys want to hear me come on the show and talk about the people that we know that have been sick, or people that have passed away, or people that their companies are going under, restaurant owners that are going out of business, our troubles, in our business also. Like, I don't think that's what you're tuning in for. I think Jeremy and I's role in this is to try to shine a light on the positive side. The other thing I would say to that is no dealership or shop across this country is in the same situation. So for you to ask me to tell everybody to do one thing, to pay their people and only write 2 hours a day, like, listen, Willie, people are going out of business. Like I can't walk a day in everybody's shoes and give them broad advice. If a client comes to me with their actual financial statements, their cash flow, their sales numbers, I can come up with a plan for them. But you can't assume that dealers have enough money to go 4 months without selling a car. And you really have to understand the dynamic of a car dealership and how much money is in that inventory that you're paying flooring on. You have $10 million worth of cars that you're paying flooring on, and you don't have a chance to sell them, and you have no income coming in except for service and parts, which is an essential business. This isn't a simple thing to talk about. You can't just come with some opinion because where you come from, you feel like you should be riding 2 a day because you're in the heart of the storm. You got to be careful. Like, just like I'm very much feeling that you are having a hard time, and I'm sorry about that, and I feel with you, and we're in this together. We can't assume that we know what dealers across the country or shop owners across the country are dealing with, what their cash flow is. I was talking to a client yesterday, they just bought a dealership and closed on it a week before all this happened.
Whoa.
Like, just think about that. Like, you buy your second dealership and you leverage yourself, and now, boom, you hit a wall. So let's not, like, the thing is, Willie, let's not only look at this from our point of view. We got to look at this from everybody's point of view. And it's not just what you're dealing with. It's what, the dealer is dealing with, the president of the auto group, the independent shop owner, the tech, the service advisor, the porter, the salespeople. Like, salespeople have been furloughed and they have no income. Like, you don't know what their bills are. Like, the thing with the stimulus, like, I have people that work for me that make over $100,000 a year. So if I furlough them or lay them off, they can't claim anything because they basically get, in the state of California, they're going to get like $1,000 a week. Now, what if their mortgage is $4,000? They can't afford food. So it's a complicated thing, and everybody's situation is different. And what we have to do is show empathy for each other. But I don't know. And then the last thing, and Jeremy, interrupt me at any time, but the last thing is, you ask my mom, like, she used to say this all the time, like, if you want to find Chris, when I was a little kid, if you want to find Chris, he's the one over there in the middle of a bunch of kids coordinating a kickball game or coordinating a soccer game or something. I'm a natural born leader, and I like leading. I like going into a crisis where people are struggling and making it better for them. I like fixing things for people. That's what I was born to do, was to do that. So for you to tell me that I shouldn't want to lead in a crisis is crazy. I didn't ask for the crisis. I didn't. But it's here and I can't control it. So I've said this many times. Focus on the things you can control. I can only control what happens today and what I can influence. That's it. I had nothing to do with this. The coronavirus was started by the CIA in China, according to Jeremy. Like, I don't know. I don't know. But I do know that if people are hurting and things are going bad, I'm going to keep a clear head and I'm going to see the trees for the forest. And I've been like that my whole life. I manage to the middle. I don't get super excited. I don't get super depressed. I don't care how stressful the situation. And believe me, I've been in some stressful situations. Life and death situations also, when I was a lifeguard and hanging out with my grandfather, who was a fireman. So I've neck boarded people that were bleeding out. Like, I thrive in those scenarios because I want to serve. I want to help. I want to help the situation be better. And me overreacting is not going to make any situation better, ever. Never has, never will.
I agree. Chris, well said. And I think, to this point, where my heart's at in all this is we can actually, sorry, I'm getting all muffled up here. The service we provide can be...
Now we're not safe.
Yeah.
If you're listening to this, Jeremy took off his mask.
The service we provide can be done. Restaurants could be open. The thing is, I will not buy in to the government shutdown of, oh my gosh, nobody do everything. We're going to take care of you. They're not. They can't. We are a democracy. We're a capitalist economy. We have to get out and make things move and shake. And I will not stand by and just let things go the status quo. There's a bigger conspiracy here if you want to talk about all that. But the point of us saying, how do you continue to drive business? Look, dealerships can handle the same amount of car flow they were handling before, and they could do it safely. Whether you want people there or not, you could have your technicians fix the cars at night when nobody's there. You could disinfect the place before. You could disinfect every car. You can do a no-touch drop-off. So our businesses don't have to be shuttered. They don't have to be shut down. And we can do it safely and effectively, and more effectively than we did before. So I'm not going to buy into, oh, let's only write up 2 cars a day and pay everybody. And I'm using Willie's words. And Willie, thank you for the comment. I'm not going to pay everybody extra just for sitting at home. That's bullshit. We've got to work, we've got to show up, and we've got to make things better. The only people that are going to get us out of this is society as a whole. And if society continues to listen to the people who have an agenda that isn't in our best interest, then we're going down the wrong path as a country. And we have to stand up and fight for this. And the way we do that is we live our lives as normal as we possibly can and continue to provide value and provide services for the people that we serve. And automotive repair and dealerships are a grassroots business. We touch our community every single day. There's no reason we can't be selling cars, we can't be servicing cars, and we can't be increasing revenues and setting record sales months right now. We don't have to sit back on our and not do anything. So
at every turn of this, the government has failed me. I don't know about you, but they first they said that most of my people are independent contractors. And they said that independent contractors would count under the stimulus. The night before the stimulus went live, they said, no, we're not going to count independent contractors. And if they make more than 100 grand, they don't apply anyways. So they would basically get unemployment. Mm-hmm. So now I'm in a situation where the whole time I think I'm going to be able to get a stimulus, that it's going to work. Now it doesn't. So then the stimulus that I do apply for, I apply, nobody can take it. And I have a personal banker with Bank of America. I've been with Bank of America forever, trying to get our loan in. You can't apply for the stimulus if you don't have a line of credit with Bank of America. And I'm like, so because I've ran my business the right way and I don't have a line of credit, I can't apply for it. Then the next week they open it up, we apply for it, we've had it in, and then today they're out of money and our thing has just been pending. So
and that's my
point. On the government. It's fine. I don't need the government. I'll figure it out.
I agree. I applied
I've wasted all that time on trying to do the thing the way the government has. I should have spent that time figuring out how to make money another way.
Well, Chris, I bank with B of A as well with the shop here, and I applied for the Paycheck Protection Loan. And
Did you have a line of credit?
I had a credit card with them, and that worked the same way.
Oh, see, I don't have any credit cards.
But I was one of the first ones in. I haven't heard anything back from them. I got all my paperwork in, and here's the thing: I wasn't counting on that. The only person that you can count on is yourself. That's why I have loved being a service advisor my entire life. My paycheck is 100% dependent on what I do every single day. And I'm not going to sit back and just let the government tell me not to do anything. Look, what's going to end up happening, my prediction, is they're going to slowly open the economy back up. And if you're high risk, they're going to make you self-quarantine. And if you're not, we're going to have to go to work in doctor lab coats, glasses, and face masks. We're going to have to change the way we do things. We're already rolling that way. We're prepared for it. So let's rock on and make some sales.
Yeah, and we don't have a crystal ball, right? Mm-hmm. So the only thing we can do is focus on the things we can control. And if we love living in a society where the harder we work, the smarter we work, the more we make, you got to take the good with the bad.
Yeah, and we have to fight to protect that right now because it is under attack. It's easy.
Wait, is this a political Democrat Bernie thing? Bernie's out.
Oh no, who's Bernie?
The Democratic candidate?
No, but
more socialist?
What they're doing is they're testing our societal response to control. They are controlling the masses right now. People are locked down. They are letting the government push them around and say, live on this. And you know what I say to that? Pfft, sorry, I'm not going to live like that. That's all I got to say about that. I'm moving on.
You
Next
listen
question.
to the far right radio, don't you? Like you're past Fox News. Like you're into that, like Breitbart. Like what radio do you listen to? Or
Well,
TV
George
are you watching?
Norrie and Art Bell are my neighbors, right? So I hang out with those two guys all the time. If you don't know who they are, just Google.
I don't know who that is, but you're far right, man. That's funny. But somewhere in the middle, Jeremy, is the truth.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's all good. Everybody's
Right?
truth is their own reality. So
Yeah, I agree with that to an extent. Okay, any other questions there, voice of God?
God has no further questions.
Yeah, so hey, Willie, I'm sorry, man, if you're having a hard time. I really am, but you can only control what you can control. And that's it. Like,
well,
if
and
we-
also don't take what we said the wrong way. We weren't after, massive car counts and all. We're about working smarter and getting better results with what we have.
But that's not what we said. Like, Willie's
Right.
taking it out of context. Like, listen, I understand Willie's having a hard time and he's reacting, he's acting out. But if he listens back to what we said, he's way off base. He wasn't
Hey,
listening.
he should get some swag for that. We should send him a service driver SDR hat. Trucker hat is what he deserves.
Okay, that's what we'll do. Awesome. Well, thanks, Jeremy. This was fun.
It was.
I enjoyed seeing you. I haven't seen you in a week. I missed you.
I missed the studio, man. I got my own studio here with our new toolbox behind me, and
I don't know. In a couple weeks, we might have to bring it back because it's an essential. It's classified under essential to do media, right?
it is absolutely. And I can be down there in about 40 minutes now instead of 3 hours. So I'm
There's no
totally
traffic.
no traffic at all. I'm ready for that. So
Thanks everybody for listening. Hope we inspired some thoughts and some ideas. Remember, just work on what you can control. That's it. Put your head down, take the good with the bad, and we'll all get through this together. We'll be stronger together. See you later. Thanks for watching this episode of Service Drive Revolution. If you have any questions, go ahead and post them in the comments below. Make sure you subscribe and hit the bell icon so you're notified when we post new episodes. I'm Chris Collins, and you can find me on Facebook and Instagram at Chris Bulldog Collins. And I'll see you again on the next episode.